Hello again, everyone. It is now the February 9 turn resolution, and I believe we're caught up, or at least we're all on the same page. I have not seen this turn resolution yet, and so I will be as surprised as you to see anything specific. So let's check it out. Here's a Dutch submarine attacking a cargo ship off the coast of Tarakan. Okay, so no clue what it's carrying, but here we go. And we've got the S-39 also doing some. He didn't want to be left out of the action, I guess. So sounds like one of these ships sank, and here's the other one being finished off by the S-39. Another cargo ship going down. Okay. Japanese I-7 submarine off the coast of Pearl Harbor gets some attention, but nothing happens. Alright, we're in the air phase and we're having some sightings. Our B-26s, well actually that was a Dauntless. But here's some submarine attacks by air, particularly around Pearl Harbor. We've got a couple reports of hits. Very skeptical of that though. And we've got our daily, what's become daily raids over Singapore. Now this sweep came through with severe storms, so we'll see if the bombing raids do much damage this turn. Here's it looks like another 100 bomber raid over Bataan, so we'll see how we weather this one. And will the heavy cloud help? Maybe a little bit. It looks like none of our troops got hit, and our runway got a few hits here. Okay, raid over Singapore. Some flak is damaging these bombers. They're trying to see. There's a lot of bombers here, so we could skip, but I was just trying to see if I could make out some hits on our whatever damaged planes are still sitting on the ground. And it looks like they don't hit any of our what's left on the ground. They do hit our airbase a little bit, and some ground casualties. However, severe storms appears to be helping a lot. And Bataan. Guess they don't want to leave that base out of the fun. So airbase gets hit. Some ground casualties. And some remnants of the bombing raids over Singapore. See what happens here. Okay. So these Idas don't want to be left out of the action. But they cause no damage. Alright. There was a little bit of reconnaissance going on there, but it looks like we're just now entering PM phase of air operations. Okay. Let's see what we can do with some airstrikes here. All right, well, that was kind of a lackluster PM turn. Yep, anti-submarine action, of course, off the coast of Pearl Harbor. Alright, nothing came of it, just a waste of some ammunition. I guess that's an expensive way to go fishing. Alright, here's some land attacks. It looks like the Japanese are pushing south from Palembang. And that will be a very small bump in the road when they do decide to do a normal attack. And here's their bombardment at Bataan. What will we find at the end of this? So here's the results. We do take more damage than usual, slightly more. And he takes a few guns out of action. And it looks like 10 disabled non-combat squads. He's still got almost 3 to 1 odds here, well 2.5 to 1, and that's about it. And the bombardment, the west of Sumatra here at Bencoolen, and yep. Alright, so he's attacking. We had a unit retreat from Miri. He's found it and he's trying to finish it off. They give up. They decided they'd rather spend the rest of the war hanging out with the Japanese than in the jungles of, what is it, North Borneo? Alright. Here's the invasion of Leh. And he took it, no opposition. Alright, the daily expansions. Okay, not bad. Okay. And when it's finished here, we'll go around, we'll do a quick analysis of this specific turn, and we'll also look at just a brief update of next operations. Okay, one moment. Okay, as usual, we'll start here with Pearl. Just, you can see all the red submarines around here. He's not giving up anytime soon. This may look like this the rest of the war, but certainly for the near future, I'm sure it'll be this way. It's okay. We'll have to do as is. So I haven't been doing this very well every turn. But let's take a quick look. I've noticed lately we've been getting almost a 2 to 1 advantage on sorties, although that means nothing in terms of actual results. But over the campaign, certainly 80,000 roughly more sorties. So the overall results of the air losses are basically, it looks like 402 to 359. Only one aircraft was lost today, and that was a Japanese Sally to flak. He's lost 23 of these so far in the war, and if we look at the total, he's lost 97 Zeros, and the next highest number of aircraft losses is the P-40 at 71, and it goes to then the Nell, and then it continues down from there. So P-40s combined, we have lost, what is that, 113. So P-40s have taken the brunt of the action, in particular air-to-air so far in the war. And Buffaloes have not fared that well either, particularly lately with the attacks on Singapore. So, and we can take a quick look at top pilots, and we can see we didn't lose a plane. The Sally was the only one lost. We've lost 72 wounded, which hopefully will all come back. I haven't really analyzed that in a very detailed way, but we've certainly lost 73 total killed. And some of these top pilots, look at the 74 missions, although a lot of them were possibly just cap every day waiting for the Japanese to come. And finally, when they did, they had done 74 missions and just got shot down without a chance, probably didn't even know who the shooter was when they got shot down, destroyed. So we've lost three of these from the 243rd Squadron RAF. But yeah, that's the situation here. We still have a couple of these guys are wounded from this. That is the top pilots list. We've got a kill in action, and from the 35th Pursuit Group. But check this out. The only ace I have on this list, he's from the 35th Pursuit Group, which uses what? P-35A. I think that's amazing. I need to get him out of there so he can survive. But he's the last hope there in the Philippines. His base, we'll jump over to it. Okay. I think we will. Come on. Okay. There we go. Cebu, unless I'm saying that wrong. I believe this is his unit here. 5 kills, 71 experience. So this guy is pretty amazing. I will possibly have to withdraw him soon, but he hasn't had any chances because right now I've been keeping him training, which we did stand down to recover some fatigue. Look at this. 11 kills, only 3 losses air to air. This is amazing. I don't know how these guys were doing it with this aircraft, because the maneuver is fine, but how do you shoot somebody down with this gun value of 10? Anyways, I'm impressed. So we'll try to get him into a decent plane soon. We'll see. We'll look into that probably soon. All right. What else do we have that we haven't looked at in a while? So we don't have any group withdrawals anytime soon. Well, soon, but yeah, we've got a few days. So ship sunk last turn. We have this for sure. I think the other one is most likely sunk. They haven't admitted it yet. So this is looks like a decent cargo ship, but we were able to take it out. It's not worth a ton of points, but nobody likes to lose ships. Let's see. And right now it's currently 87, which, by the way, this 87 is for sure because this is us. We know that. This 30, not so sure. So, and by the way, I wanted to show you something. Look, this Ryujo disappeared from the list. So a few days ago in game, I was notified that I was wrongly informed of the sinking of the Ryujo. So that disappeared from this list. So sad, but it's fine. We'll try to find it and sink it another day. Well, let's see. So ship withdrawal, I do know that I have one. Oops, let's see. Days. I have one that needs to be withdrawn very soon, and that is the Joseph Dickman. I thought I would use it. I thought I would take it and keep it for a few more days to handle that, to help with the invasion of Luganville. It did its job, and it is currently heading straight for Sydney. And here it is. So it'll make it in one day, easily be sent back, plenty of time to go. So we'll be fine there. We still have the Queen Elizabeth is unloading some supplies. I don't know how much longer that'll take. It should be quickly, but we have all of our troops from that invasion. They're sitting here, and the next step is to reposition some units, strengthen this up. Right now it's a 118 defense. I do have more troops coming. It looks like right here, in fact. The 164th Infantry Regiment is scheduled to come here and help hold Luganville. And we have the rest of the Admiral Division and the 2nd Marine Division are both going to be based here. Hopefully that's enough to deter action, and then the goal is to upgrade the airfield, get some fighters flying over it, some cap, and hold against future Japanese carrier or other air unit incursions. So the goal is now to fortify this, I don't know what you'd call it, rectangle, maybe include Fiji, and really make these scary to encroach upon. And yeah, so that's my goal there. So I got a little distracted because I was talking about the Joseph Dickman ship. Was there anything else I want to look at here? Nothing specific. I will say that we do have the Hornet coming in less than a month, so that's always good. And other than that, I think we're okay. Sometimes I like to look at this. If something was destroyed recently, just flip through it. Kind of one thing this does is open up how much it costs to bring it back, and I will take a look. See, stuff like this, I mean, as cheap as it is, maybe it's worth getting it back into the game so I can have some aircraft somewhere on the map. Although I may not get it. Well, yeah, if you get a destroyed unit like this, it's really cheap and easy to reassign it to a different headquarters, and then you can move it around. So I'll think about that. But I wanted to look for the 1st Marine Defense Battalion as well. I like to get these and use them around the base because they do have some pretty good, decent equipment to hold bases. I like to put them out on bases to hold, although so far 3 of the bases I've had these defense battalions posted have been easily swept over, and that is Wake, Midway, and Johnston Island. So maybe not. Well, anyway, it's something to look into. In the meantime, let's do a quick work around the map because it's been a while since I've showed you some of this stuff. So we have an amphibious, which this is bringing these 2 units, construction regiment and an anti-aircraft regiment, to ADAC. The goal is to build this up, especially, I mean, maybe the port capacity first, make it a submarine base, or air capacity first and give it some air support protection against invasion / well, even ASW support. I'll debate that here in the next couple turns as this starts coming to bring these new units here. I'm not remembering how many engineers come with this, so more than, well, let's look. So 36 engineers, 10 engineer vehicles. They should be able to throw something together here quickly, and then I can move this base essentially to ADAC, and that'll be I mean, certainly subs will will appreciate the 10 hex shortened distance to replenish here. Let's take a look. I guess this is an AP unit that drops. Oh, right. So that was dropping something at Kodiak, which not even sure what it is anymore. One of these units. Oh, I think it was this combat engineer battalion. He's going to be based up here. Yeah, I don't know for how long, but also he's not here for the war. It looks like he's going to pull out in 2.5 years, give or take. A little over, I guess a little over 2 years. So not much to talk about here. Mostly supply and resupply runs going on in the Alaska and the Aleutians. Same thing here. A lot of these ships come and go mostly to Pearl Harbor and there and back again. So, such as this. This is actually Cargo Sydney. It is returning from an operation to take supplies to Sydney. So it is returning from that trip, as you can see, with very low fuel, but it did make it all the way and all the way back. So that's very cool. We have been doing convoys of troops starting at Los Angeles. Here's one right here, bringing troops down to the South Pacific. It's almost a non-stop pipeline going down there. And we have more troops. This is more of an engineer convoy. It is heading also to the South Pacific, so we can strengthen those bases, upgrade their capacity for aircraft. Okay, I wanted to jump over here. So far we've had PBYs flying from French frigate Shoal, and you can see here it barely reaches midway. Now I've decided I'm going to leapfrog and drop you can see here, drop a seaplane support ship on Lausanne Island and bring these PBYs forward and really get a good look at what's going on over Midway. I don't know if that's a smart idea or not, but because one of the reasons I want to do that is I have in decent shape some 3 battleships. Now, should I be putting them to use right now? I actually can't answer that, but it would be interesting to bring these out of port and really bombard these bases, these 2 local atolls, and see if I can, wreck him a bit and, wreck his supplies, wreck his, and also definitely maybe hopefully force him to think about what he's going to do about these bases. I mean, does that mean divert some attention where he might put his attention somewhere else, or let him fall and maybe I start forming up landings and actually land and retake them? It's just something I want to think about, but in order to do that, I really want to have some good patrol cover. So I'll probably have some PBYs flying out of here still, covering, and maybe redirect them to look at Johnston, and then have some flying from Lausanne Island and be that much closer to really get a good look over Midway. All right, and Palmyra, I'm not really doing much with this. It's got what it's probably going to get for a while. I know that's not much. If he came with a concerted effort, he'd take that. I just don't. This isn't my top priority right now. It should be, because I should be able to skirt around these without being scared. He did take Baker, so he's that much closer to all these. It's something I have in the back of my mind, but not in the forefront, that's for sure. I can say I've reinforced this a bit. I mean, again, it could certainly always be stronger. However, I guess to a certain limit. The troop capacity is, after all, 6,000. And we're keeping an eye up here for transport ships, so we'll see. In the meantime, hopefully this will hold for a bit. We do have some engineers here, and hopefully we're getting this fortification built up to withstand an invasion. Of course, behind this, I mean, the only thing we're doing, we just got some small units back here. Over here, Pago Pago, the usual forces are holding Pago Pago. Anyways, some, 191 assault strength, not too terrible. And this is like a backup submarine base back here, and we are expanding. We have some aviation support, and we're expanding the air base. The idea there is, we can fall back and have a small air base here if we need it on the fly. And in the meantime, I'm dumping lots of supplies and fuel, understanding that I do have a limit, but dropping tons of supplies and fuel out of Panama, coming directly here. They go back, pick up more, come back here. And the idea there is backup supply and fuel to bring forward as needed. It's just a shorter run if I need to go from Pago Pago to Noumea, Efate, Luganville, or Fiji. So that's kind of the idea there, is that this is kind of a base we're pulling stuff from on as needed. So Fiji, again, just the usual stuff. No strengthening of the defenses here. Keeping some upgrades as what feels like it has value, and some supplies and fuel as a secondary base there. But Noumea has lots of supplies and lots of fuel, and again, I've got this Skytrain squadron that is ready to, probably as soon as Luganville's built up, I will be having commandos, raider battalions, and the parachute regiment will all be based out of Luganville, ready to be paradropped, parts north of there. In Denny, now that we've taken Luganville, I may maybe even drop the, let's see, yeah. There is we'd have to build up the base to increase these limits, but it would be nice. I mean, the port capacity is tiny, but we could have an air capacity up to 8. We could build this base up and use that to operate into Guadalcanal and the Solomons. It won't be used as a naval base, that's for sure, but it certainly could be used as staging for air, whether it's bombers or paradrops. We'll see. That's the near future probably, or not too distant future, I should say. So Australia, we have some bases building up, and we've got our air units here as well as some ground units. Brisbane particularly, we're always upgrading, or hopefully that's the goal. I was going to show, so aviation support of 108, 80 is required. We're trying to base some air units out of here for training. Same thing for Sydney, Melbourne. Yeah, these bases are currently being used to house our bomber forces. Port Moresby, might not have pointed this out recently, but we have the 1st Australian Corps headquarters here now, so hopefully it'll help hold the line here. Lark Battalion should be fully operating out of here, as the rest of its detachments and splintered unit is fully destroyed. So this is all that's left. So the idea is to hopefully get some replacements in here and build it back up to its intended strength, 36 it looks like, as well as some 25-pounder guns. It looks like we only need one more. And then support, which isn't critical because we do have that headquarters unit, which gives us an extra support over the limit. We have aviation support available for some fighters and or bombers. So that's something I'm thinking probably in the near term, since he now has Ley as well as he has aircraft operating out of Rabaul. So that's Australia, Northern Australia, and New Guinea. So Dutch East Indies. This is something where it's kind of a waiting game. I'm just trying to keep supplies rolling in because I don't want these to die on the vine while I'm waiting. Ambon is a pretty decent base. It doesn't have a lot of AV per se. It does have plenty of supplies and fuel to use as needed. Surabaya, I've bled it somewhat dry, but it's building back up. I am bringing supplies by cargo ship from India because I pulled a lot of supplies from this theater early on to the East Indies mostly, not to other parts that don't need it particularly. But what happens is now I got to thinking, well, what if this runs out of supply before the Japanese really hit it, and didn't want that to happen. I know it can create its own supply, but I don't know how much. And so I'm bringing in plenty. The idea is, again, get the supply to the key places and then hold out as long as possible. As you could see from the resolution, he's got units moving from Palembang. He's expanding and probably going to head this way down to Oosthaven soon enough. And let's see. I don't know when he's going to start coming through here. And I have some transport ships that are still operating from Balikpapan. And why not? Let's see if we can get some supplies here. If they get sunk on the way, we have a 2-value ship and a 1-value ship. If they get sunk, I don't think we're going to cry about it. However, and then this is carrying 1750 up to Bataan. I have been doing this pipeline since probably mid to late December. So the idea and hope here is to keep this supplied enough to be a thorn and force him to have to attack. Is that realistic? Probably not. And possibly Cagayan will fall even before this circles around and drops off supplies here. I've got some more AKLs sitting back here, as I've already bled Balikpapan dry. So the idea here is, if there's a surplus, if I feel like there's a surplus, I will take some and probably drop it in either of these two spots depending on where it's needed the most. So his unit that came and hit our troops, near North Borneo, they are pulling back to Miri. Okay, Sarawak. And I've just got these units that got pushed out. They're still sitting. Actually, this unit got pushed out of, I think, Beaufort. And they've been slowly making their way down here. And now they're both parked just outside of Tarakan with no intentions whatsoever except to sit there until the Japanese decide to come out to play. And here's mainly where I'm flying. I'm leaving Singapore, Sabang, then Port Blair. These are my hops to Rangoon and parts unknown, India possibly, or further north of Burma. Otherwise, I have brought some air units to Oosthaven or Batavia and Surabaya, and maybe make their way back to Australia for future defense there. My B-17s are sitting here repairing because they got beat up. They got beat up on that raid that did 0 damage, so that was sad. And there's not much happening here. We have gotten some air support units, aviation support units, recently dropped off in Karachi, and they're coming out into these areas. I believe we brought one to Lido, Calcutta. We're going to base one. We're going to base some here along here to give ourselves plenty of chance to base air units to harass the Japanese as they come up this way. That's the goal. We'll see what it looks like in reality soon enough. And we have our Australians are based in Ceylon here, waiting for the potentially inevitable invasion. Now, he still hasn't taken Singapore, so it may be a little while, but when he does something, he does it with force, so, and a very strong one. So the idea here is to have force to fight back, but we'll see if it's enough or if this is even his target. I believe there's not much detail to go over in India, so we won't really spend time there. I will say, as we come back to India, he's got this wall of troops that after taking Changchao and Loyang, he looks to be wanting to head this way. I have a small unit here to hopefully block him from shooting up to Ankang, and I've got these, let's see, only 680 assault here, but of course he has to get through these guys to get up here. And this is assault value of, what am I seeing here? 2,000, that's what it is. And another assault value of 1,300, but these are wooded rough, so they're all 3 times. And he hasn't been attacking even here, where my assault value is quite low, nor has he been attacking here, where my supplies are basically causing my troops to be useless. However, he does have, let's see if this is the right key. Okay, apparently I have these hex sides that are open, and it looks like these sides, even though he has these sides, so I'm not sure what that means. So for these hexes, he has both of these sides. But apparently I have all 5 of these hex sides for this hex, except for that one. And so I doubt I'm getting supplies through here and here. I can't be getting it through here because, I mean, where does the supplies come from? These are all Japanese owned. So I'm not sure how useful this hex is to me, which is probably why this very poor supply. Now, that makes me think of something. I could use these bombers to drop supply. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Something to think about, which I will. So having said that, so yeah, you can see this, especially with the hex sides taken. You can see this wall of Japanese troops ready to, all the way down to here, ready to start marching inward. We'll see. Ai Chang has an assault value of 2519. So if he comes across here, it's a shock attack. I have, I think, let's see, fortification of 4. Changsha, fortification of 9. Probably, sorry, I don't know what I said. It's 5. I'm occupying some of these bases here, and then some of these crossroads, Puchang, and then this crossroad here. Let's see. Yeah. So I don't know if this setup at all is half decent or terrible, but mostly I'm just trying to see what his next step is and then going to respond as needed. So we shall see. And I did want to point out something here that I find interesting. So what I have is because he has Palembang, I assume he's going to be shipping. And by the way, for some reason, I did 0 damage to the base when he took it. So my bombers have done the only damage that it's taken. And when he starts bringing oil out or fuel, the idea is to have submarines, which basically have just these are patrol zones, which are just simply lines. A line, this is a tiny back and forth line, and then another line here, just these 3, I think it's just these 3 hexes. These 5 hexes, it's going to go back and forth. Another line of hexes, another line. I think it comes out all the way to here, back and forth. I'm not 100% sure. But the idea here is as his ships come out, they're going to have to run this gauntlet, okay? Similarly, Tarakan, if he brings oil out of here, I'm starting to get some similar submarine anti-convoy, or convoy raiding submarines anyways, working here. As well as I've got a few trying to hopefully snag some tankers as they leave this area. So that's about it. I do have submarines. Hopefully they're not too spread out, but the idea is to keep an eye on these areas. Covering Wake, which I guess it's not moot now because he will still have to supply it. But my submarines going back and forth here, I think they're probably replenishing, honestly, because I don't see a submarine in any of these hacks. So that's why I didn't spot anything. That's perfect timing for him. There was no subs to stop that amphibious invasion. I do have submarines. I've dropped some mines here, and I have some submarines patrolling any replenishment or resupply convoys, as well as Johnston Island. Same thing. Dropped some mines here, and I'm patrolling here. And certainly you can see all the aggressive sub patrol I've got going on here. All the way down, I'm patrolling north of Luganville, which that was a prelude to. That was to keep him from resupplying. Then I used it to keep an eye out for either reinforcements or counterattacks. And so far I've got like several sub patrols going on further north, and some trying to cover Kumak and Noumea. These this may be anti-submarine actually, but these are certainly subs. I may shift these subs up further north, we'll see. And the idea is going to be to maybe make a wall to keep him from resupplying Tulagi and also dropping troops at Lunga. I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. This is anti-submarine patrol here. But these are sub patrols, which certainly didn't do a job, didn't stop anything here. And probably won't stop anything at Milne Bay. This guy's patrolling here and there. He's had a little bit of action, not very much, and then patrolling north and south of Truk. So yeah, definitely have subs in various places trying to keep an eye out. Well, that's going to end that. I've gone on long enough. It's time to get into this. I'm going to quickly wrap up the turn, send it to my opponent, TF1377, and we'll hopefully have another turn for you soon. Thanks all. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.